This is Daniel Posney, and this is Shifting Perspectives. And aloha. And I'm still, well, we're on our last day on Kauai, and a lot has happened since we've been here. And let me back up about 11 days. I got a call from a really good friend that I haven't seen in a long time. And he kind of vibrates at a really high frequency of consciousness. And he's not for everyone, because where he's going is a high place of manifestation in your life. And even me, I wasn't ready for the kind of manifestation that he was pointing to years ago. And he contacted me and he said, really believe in you, and I see what you're doing, and I believe that you and I could be doing something together. And it really stirred up in me, okay, I've been talking about that there's been changes in my life coming, and there's been all kinds of readers and astrologers and everything saying there are big things happening for you. And I've seen it manifested in the move that Valerie and I took this year from Sedona to Cornville, in our dream property with a medicine wheel and a sweat lodge and the creek and 2 acres. And it really kind of showed us right there that things are happening, and that there is a great expansion occurring, that anything that we wanted to manifest, any of our desires, was going to be able to be manifested. So what do you want, kind of thing. And then here's Joshua showing up the day before we go to Kauai. And I told him, I said, I'm completely in with this. I'm completely excited about this. And without jumping right in, I want to go to Kauai, let this all happen, because Kauai is a consciousness of itself, and there's really ancient energy and consciousness here, related to something called Lemuria and Atlantis. So there's some ancient high consciousness energy here that I wanted to kind of tap into, make sure that I wasn't diving into something egoic, or just getting really clear on it. So what a perfect thing. So we came here to Kauai, and my brother's been hosting us for about half the time that we're here, and it's been fantastic to stay in an amazing, amazing hotel at Kauai Shores, and also at the Aston Islander. But the Kauai Shores is a really cool hotel. If you ever go to Kauai, I highly recommend it. So we got our time there, separately, and then my brother and his wife Haunani were hosting us, and it's I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like, here we are, Valerie and I are doing the work that we do and helping people heal and staying in high consciousness. And my brother and his wife are really in their hearts and really just completely in love, hosting us. And it's just been so fantastic to have them completely in service, kind of thing. So I don't know, it's still kind of hard. I can feel it, but it's still hard to explain. But I know that there's this expansion happening, because my twin brother Ken, is feeling the same thing. He's feeling some kind of big changes happening in his life. And Haunani is at this moment on Maui, and she's been there for a few days, and she's going to be there for, I think, about a week, helping out with this distribution and things that the goods that they brought over there. And she's Hawaiian. So there's this great activation, expansion happening all the way around. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And this talk that I want to go into for a little bit is reflecting that. And it's really inviting me to step into a consciousness that I've been kind of dipping my toe into, and just kind of, it kind of feels like I've been kind of regulating it and not fully going into it, which is completely fine. That's how I've kind of done my life, is we all do our life in regulation of what we're comfortable with. So we've always got kind of like a governor on our expansion, on our enlightenment, and all that. We all kind of regulate that in some sense. The topic this morning is is about fear and love. And it's about how, when you're in fear about something, of the world or of someone or something, of an illness or of a person or of a job, you can't really be at the same time in love. You can love something, you can love banana cream pie and be in fear of the IRS coming down on you. But to really be in a state of in love with something, in the frequency of love, which really that's all there is. Fear is a distortion of reality. So it's hard to be in a distortion and then be in the clarity of love. So if it helps any, I invite you just to close your eyes. We'll see what comes out of my mouth. Imagine yourself in a room. And if you need any help on this, I've made a video called The Consciousness Holodeck. Imagine yourself in a room, and in this room is a holodeck, or a place of space and time. And in this holodeck is the vibration of a certain frequency of consciousness. And there is a bit of a range up and down, but it's a certain range of frequency of consciousness. And that's just where we kind of find ourselves mostly, is in this holodeck. And if this holodeck is vibrating at the frequency of resentment and jealousy and lack, victim consciousness, it's the wrong room for love. Yes, love can help there. Love can erase all feelings of fear if used properly, if allowed. But in this room, love really isn't allowed here. It's in the perfect frequency of these things called victim consciousness and betrayal and all that. So if you're in fear and frustration and resentment of Trump or Biden or the CDC, they're all reflections of ourselves. What we mean by that is how we feel about those things are reflections of ourselves. How they show up to us are reflections of our internal state of being. There's a saying that goes, the question is, when is everything going to be okay? And the answer is, when you are okay with everything. That's a challenging place to be okay with everything. Yes, I mean that too. I mean child slavery, and I mean all those things, murder and rape and all those things. I know, not to condone it, but realize that it exists, and how we feel about those things, the judgment that we have about those things, and what we say about those people are little reflections of ourselves. And the moment that we can really get into those feelings and even love those parts of ourselves. And what I'm talking about is those people that we judge as bad and need to be locked up or killed or whatever the punishment is, that those people are experiencing some kind of pain. And sometimes they cause that pain to be directed at someone else, so someone else will know their pain. Have you ever felt pain like that? That's the reflection. Not that you are a murderer or a rapist or a child abuser, but it's the pain, it's the emotion inside of that. that when you really look inside yourself, you can feel. Don't get lost in the details and the labeling and all the societal things that we do. Connect with the pain of that. Find some empathy there. No, you haven't taken the same actions, but you felt a little bit of that pain. So fear of those people, fear of those entities, fear of those companies, fear of those diseases. There's no overcoming those things. There's no those things leaving your life by staying in fear. And we need to be stronger than our own distorted minds to overcome that with love. I know how hard that is. I know how hard it is to overcome my own mind that wants to stay in judgment, that wants to stay in limitation, wants to stay in the distortion of reality. What you're seeing out there in the world is not reality. It's a contrived distortion. It's a contrived display movie that's in front of you. I know it's real because it's real for you because you see it and you feel it and you touch it. But that reality is a distortion. I apologize. This is not me tiptoeing anymore. This is me really going into it, not holding back. When we pull back from what we see in front of us, it's a movement of energy. And if it's a movement of energy, there's no good and bad emotion around it. The good and bad emotion comes from our mind, from our thoughts and our beliefs. But take away the mind and the judgment. It's all energy. And the only energy it could be is love. Now go back and do it with your mind. See how the mind labels and analyzes and judges. So when I say fear and love are mutually exclusive, I'm hoping I'm using that term correctly. They can't exist at the same time. You can't be in the distortion and be in the real reality, the reality of all things, love, at the same time. We think that we can. That's what our mind tells us. Our mind tells us that we can hate this person, hate this world, be in fear of this world or this disease or this entity that's created by a society, that's created by a system, and be in love with this person. Yes, you can, I know, you can love this person, you love your kids. But what I'm talking about is the true reality of love. Can you really know them? Not just a reflection of you, but to really know them and all their quirks and rights and wrongs of them. Can you see your reflection in them and love that? You know, we got this thing where we love this other person, but we hate ourselves. Oh, I can't love that part of myself. The moment you do, the moment you really love yourself, you can really see someone. Because again, you're going back to that they are a reflection of you. So completely loving yourself, not from your mind, but loving you as the awareness of yourself. And looking at yourself, the character Daniel, and saying, God, I really love that guy. Not because he's perfect, because what animates him is perfect, is perfection. Being in love, in the state of love, being in the room of love like that, everything is a reflection of that. And then you can really see, you could for the first time know a tree without just labeling it and saying, I know what that is. There's another saying that says, when a child is told or shown what a tree is, the next time they see a tree, they only see their thoughts and not a tree. I think that the original version is a bird, but whatever. We say a name in our heads, and right away we conjure up feelings and beliefs about that person. If you are trying to get somewhere or do something or attract anything in your life that is beneficial to you, that feels better to you, that is healthier to you, that is more loving to you, we cannot attract those things if we're in a state of fear. We need to be vibrating in the frequency of consciousness in order to attract that thing, actually the feeling of that thing. And that brings up all kinds of stuff. That brings up all kinds of emotion. Oh, I've got to vibrate there. Oh, what does that mean? That means you got to let go of those things that aren't that vibration. I got to let that go. I've got to forgive. Oh, maybe someday, maybe in a week or so. No, it's a choice right now. Right now, you have a choice. I have a choice right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, maybe sometime. Right now, I have a choice. I don't know how much longer in my life I have that choice. When Valerie realized that she had a health concern, I didn't focus on so much me or anyone sending healing energy to Valerie, although we do it anyway. The real thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to shift my consciousness so that I was in the frequency of the reality that Valerie is completely healed. That's a completely different way of consciousness. Instead of staying in the consciousness that I'm in, sending healing energy, hoping that something shifts, something by some miracle. Instead, working on something that have more direct impact is shifting my consciousness so that I step into the reality where Valerie is healed. And that how that feels, get into the emotions of how that feels to me. But I can't be in fear and try and manifest that. And all the different flavors of fear: blame, shame, worry, regret, resentment. Isn't it interesting how we hear people say, I've got to attract my soulmate. How come I haven't found love? How come I can't get this person to love me? How come I can't get this relationship to be what I need it to be? Are you in a state of love? How do you see the rest of the world? How do you see these things? Do you see them with hatred and frustration and fear? You are that powerful that through your thoughts and your beliefs and the consciousness that you continue to vibrate on, you do affect your reality. It's kind of like we all see this reality and it kind of waves or vibrates into certain vibrations of energy, of emotion and distortion that are conducive to us, that are a match to us, to how we feel. It's like a Tibetan monk that's been meditating all their lives still sees the world. There's still everything out there going on in the world. It's not that they've closed a blind eye to it. It's that they don't see the distortion like most of us do. They see the reality. And it's not that they're not affected by it. It's just that they don't see it in that emotionally distorted way. So the challenge is, how can you drop whatever thoughts there are that are not of love? And you might think that your relationship is different than how you feel about Biden or Trump or the CDC or the IRS or Russia. What if you just smoothed out the whole concept of life in the world? What if you just blurred everything? God, how would that feel to allow and embrace all of it? Oh my gosh. And then as your mind comes up with some bullshit idea of judging any little piece of that, refrain, drop that. I could, but I would, but drop that. There are certain people at certain times, those of us that have gone through some big event in our lives, maybe someone gets lost at sea or has to remove a limb just so they could live again. Sometimes they get a different perspective on life. They completely open their heart. And that can be done by a choice. Thought comes up, drop it. Love, drop into love. What would that feel like? Yep, as the thought came up again, drop into love. What would that feel like? Anything that you want to manifest that has more of a vibration of consciousness, of love, cannot exist when your mind is playing out elements of fear. It's like a zzz, it's like a electrical short. Yes, love is greater than fear. Yes, all those things. And yet you are a powerful manifester. Let love be more powerful than fear. Stop giving it obstacles to overcome. This is the new me, and it's going to get better. Thank you for being a part of this. I love you. Thank you. Bless you.